Yeah.
And as a child, I think that part of it is, I think it needs to be researched, is we need to look at some of this virtual stuff that's out there. It seems to blur the lines between fiction and fact, reality. And, these kids don't quite understand that, hey, if I do
the
this
repercussions of doing that.
That maybe they, I just can't hit reset on a button and life starts over again. And some of these games they play, if you've seen some of these things, they are so realistic. It literally looks like you're watching a movie.
Yeah.
So you almost wonder when you're young. Now, for adults like us, we understand the difference. But when you're young like that and your brain is developing and you're starting to see games that are virtual that look like real life, at some point, I got to think that it starts to blur reality. And
well, as you mentioned, too, in their minds of being, 12, 13, 14 years old, they're still developing, I would imagine. I'm no child psychologist, but I'd have to imagine that that's, a formidable years for development and things like that. So,
and I'm not much for the government, cracking down on everything we do in life, but I think that somebody needs to research what the effect of that, virtual versus real.
Exactly. Well, there's a lot we want to still get into. Always a good discussion and an important topic. But we do want to let you know that we have a great program for you this morning. Of course, it is Friday, so that means Willie Waffle. We will be speaking to him shortly with regards to a lot that's hitting theaters this weekend and streaming services. So we'll get his rundown of what he thinks about the movies coming up, and that includes Beetlejuice, the sequel of the Michael Keaton classic that I think that was a movie back in the 90s that was a fan favorite. We'll talk about the sequel and many more with Willie Waffle. Also, Bill Keeler himself, the host of this program, will be calling in at 7:15. He wants to weigh in on one particular incident that we talked about off the air that will allow Bill to weigh in on and give his thoughts on, is the incident in Frankfurt, at Frankfurt Elementary School. A gun discharged at an open house event at the elementary school. Very, very, very little information being provided by law enforcement. And while there is some level of understanding, this is an ongoing investigation. A little bit tight-lipped. So Bill will give his thoughts on that. Also, Michael Marone is a local photographer. I know him well. We've mutually been involved in a lot of the same organizations over the years. He has a startling story about a conversation he had with a retiring photographer that he had met to go possibly buy some backdrop equipment from. And he's kind of sounding the alarm for parents with regard to senior photo and senior portrait shoots. So we'll hear from Michael on that. Also, we'll talk to Technical Sergeant Jack Keeler, who is now the Assistant Director of Public Information for the New York State Police. He was our Troop D PIO for several years. We love Jack. He'll be in this morning to talk about a state fair recap and some of the things that may have happened or not happened at the state fair. And Scott from Kirkville giving you the betting odds for week 1 of the NFL. Already had an exciting opening game with the Chiefs and Ravens. Also coming up on the program, Blaise Faggiano, Utica University head football coach. Tonight is the ever-popular Believe 271 Bowl that honors volunteer firefighters. And we'll speak to Scott Allen Curley, who's a small business expert. He will be on to talk about one of the big concerns for small business owners, and that is still inflation. So we have that and much more to get to here on a Friday edition of First News with Keeler in the Morning. We'll talk to Willie Waffle next on WIBX.
Texting enrolls you into reoccurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text SAVVY to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text SAVVY to 42424. That's SAVVY to 42424.
Summer is here, and if you want to transform your backyard into your very own staycation, look no further than Liverpool Pool and Spa. They're offering the season's lowest prices on above-ground pools with both round and oval sizes available. Low monthly payments or 24 months 0% financing for qualified buyers. Own a high-quality pool without the high price. Visit them at 1501 East Dominic Street in Rome or online at liverpoolpoolandspa.com. Don't just dream it, live it.
By now, you've probably heard of Upside, the free app that gets you real cash back at gas stations. But Upside is so much more than just a gas app. Upside lets you earn cash back at more than 85,000 grocery stores, gas stations, and restaurants, including popular national chains and local favorites. Just download the free promo code SNACK10 and get a 10% cashback bonus on your first purchase. Get the Upside app and use promo code SNACK10 for an extra 10% cashback bonus. That's promo code SNACK10. Offers vary by user and location. Terms and conditions apply. Go to upside.com for details.
Here's your chance to win a 2024 Jeep Compass. Enter the Rome Capital Arts Complex car raffle. This is not a national promotion. It's a fundraiser for the Capital Arts Complex.
Buy your $50 car raffle tickets at the Capitol Theater box office. Visit RomeCapital.com for additional locations and details. Brought to you by Town Square Media, WKTV, and Victory Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Rome.
Buy your raffle ticket today.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
The first hour already flying by. It's good to have Lieutenant Steve Houck in this morning as our guest host. First News with Keeler in the morning on WIBX. 950 AM, 92.3 FM. And we've got a pretty jam-packed program for you this morning, and one of the many guests we will have on is our very own Bill Keeler. Will be making a appearance to share his thoughts on something that is, when Bill has something on his mind, and you've known him for a long time. I've known him for more than half my life. He doesn't hold back when he's got something on his mind and he has something to say. And he's got something to say this morning.
Well, I think that's what makes him so successful. I think for most of us, when we listen to talk radio, and I don't know if it's an older person thing, but back in the day, when I'd be driving, I'd crank the music up and I would go. But as I've gotten a little older, I listen a little less to the music and a little bit more to the talk. I like to be informed. That's sort of how I am right now.
Yeah.
I like to listen to all different opinions.
You got to,
and that's what makes a good radio personality or somebody that's informative, that's editorializing something, is they give their opinions, and I don't necessarily always agree with them.
Right, and whether they're unapologetic and unafraid.
Yeah, and I think that's part of what makes the country great, is that everybody has a different opinion on something, and you and I might not always agree on something. I might not always agree with Bill, and you vice versa. But right. that's what's great about the country.
That's what it's all about.
That's it.
One thing we can all agree on is our love and respect for the best movie reviewer in the history of the world, Willie Waffle, and he's on as he is every Friday morning with us. Good morning, Willie. How are you?
Oh, good morning. I'm telling you, how I am? Here's my deal. I think we need to do these 4-day weeks all the time. This is the best.
Well, they're doing it in other countries. I mean, there's a lot of nations that only do a 4-day work week, and you only work like 9 to 3 or 9 to 2 or something like that. It's we could consider that.
Sign me up. Where am I moving? Am I moving to Norway? It's probably Norway.
Or Switzerland.
It's Norway.
Life's so good for the Swiss people. Well, we want to get right into it because we never have enough time to talk to you. I think we could do a whole hour with you every week. But one of the things that's drawing my attention is, and I'm surprised it hasn't happened earlier, and maybe I'm a little surprised it's happening so early, the Donald Trump movie heading to theaters called The Apprentice. What is this about?
Yeah, this is a I'm just gonna say it's a controversial movie.
Well, anything surrounding the former president could be considered that.
Yeah, it stars Sebastian Stan, who people know from the Marvel movies, from Captain America and such, and it is the quote-unquote story of Donald Trump learning how to be Donald Trump throughout his life, with a heavy influence from Roy Cohn, people who know him, his work as a lawyer in New York City and his reputation are going, oh, God, this movie is going to not be good for Donald Trump. And so here's the thing. It's been made. There were investors. It's now been sold, and they're trying to get it distributed. I don't know why I can't say that word this morning. And it looks like it's finally going to happen in October, on October 11th. And the big holdup, and this is what's so interesting to me, the big holdup in the distribution was the fact that one of the investors, a company called Kinematics, got very upset when they finally saw the movie. See, Kinematics is backed by the former Washington Commanders football team owner, Dan Snyder.
Who is no stranger to controversy himself.
That's true. And he's a big Donald Trump supporter. And as the story goes, when they saw the movie and how it portrayed Trump, he's like, I am not going to have anything to do with this. There is no way any company I'm involved with is going to let this be distributed. So another company has bought out their rights, so that, basically Snyder's company has been paid off. And now there's a Kickstarter that's going on to fund the distribution starting on the 11th. Now, they started with a goal of 100,000. They already hit 130,000. And so it's going to be in theaters on October 11th. Just, where is going to be the question? Who's going to take the film? I mean, are these guys going to rent the theaters and sell the tickets themselves? Are they going to depend on maybe fundraising groups or Democratic groups to buy all the tickets and hand them out? I mean, who knows? But it is coming October 11th.
Now, with something like that, that's fairly soon. Wow, right around the corner. Now, is this something that Donald Trump would have had to have signed off on? I know that maybe for other people they're selling the rights to their life story, but maybe being such a public figure that he is, he wouldn't have had to have signed off on this. Very interesting. So it dives into basically his realm coming up through the ranks and as a young guy in New York City, I'd imagine.
Yeah, running his businesses, taking over Dad's business, cutting the deals, the art of the deal, my friends. Yeah. That was the book. That was the one that made him famous.
Oh, my gosh. Well, highly anticipated by some, and there'll be a lot of people that just won't see it. I think huge, big-time Donald Trump supporters don't want to see him, like Dan Snyder, in a negative light. So that'll be very interesting. One thing we got to talk about, and I'm very excited about this. We'll get to Beetlejuice in a second, but what is this? Perfect Couple is a Netflix series. Tell us a little bit about this.
Yeah, so this is their attempt at another crime drama, with of course lots of sordid details happening. It stars Nicole Kidman and Liev Schreiber. They are hosting their son and their entire family as their son is about to get married on Nantucket. Oh. And it's going to be the society event of the season, my friends. Why, Nicole Kidman plays a writer who's very, very famous, and there's going to be a whole profile, and it's going to be a big deal until the day of the wedding when they find a dead body.
Oh, my God. Yeah. I hate it when that happens.
Yeah, and now it's a whodunit, man. And, and I have to admit, the thing that gets me, there's so much potential, I think, with this series. It's only about 6 episodes, but they can't figure out where they're going in a lot of respects. So, like, on the one hand, when it starts off, you think it's going to be kind of this snarky, kind of mocking kind of series as we get these characters who are very, very funny and say really outrageous things and just totally, just totally denigrating every person who's involved with the wedding. But it kind of shies away from that. Then it becomes more of a true crime crime mystery, right? Who did it? Why? And that's okay. And then there's like a third element where almost at times you feel like it's a satire of these crime dramas that we get so many of these days. But it never really kind of solidifies into any one of those individually. I think that hurts the story a little bit. I think it hurts our emotions a little bit. I'm at 2 waffles. It's just kind of on the border, kind of okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to give it 6 episodes.
Yeah, so it's 6 episodes, okay. And, that's kind of been the new format is a lot of these streaming services will do, and I think back to like the Queen's Gambit, right, which was like a 6 to 8 episodes limited series. You're not going to get a season 2. It does a lot more than a movie can do. And if you do it right, like Queen's Gambit, if you haven't seen that, I recommend it. You make people wanting more. You leave people wanting more. But in this case, you say, if you get through the 6 episodes, you're lucky.
Yeah, but this is the thing though. They will easily do a sequel if there's enough numbers and money behind it. I mean, let's talk about one of my favorite shows on Hulu, Only Murders in the Building.
Oh, we just watched the second episode last night. It's getting good.
It's really good, and they're up to 4 seasons. And just yesterday, or maybe it was Wednesday, they announced there's going to be a 5th Murder in the Building.
They
so
should
do a 5th season.
Yeah, they better.
Anything that could be limited, there could always be another sequel. There can always be another murder. There can always be another wedding. So don't count it out.
Well, and they haven't made it boring yet. So quickly, Steve Houck, and then we got to get to Beetlejuice.
And the good thing is Andrew said he's always looking for places for people to stay. I got to imagine the apartments in that building got to be cheap.
No, nobody. Yeah, right. Nobody's dying. Well, everybody's dying to get in there, and people are dying to get out. All right, and finally, the moment a lot of us have been waiting. I'm actually glad you brought up Only Murders in the Building because I was going to end with that, but we will end with this. Don't say it a third time. Beetlejuice. What do you think? Yep. Don't disappoint me, Willie.
Well, I don't know if it's disappointment as far as it's not the mind-blowing movie that the original was.
Yeah.
You got to think back. When Beetlejuice came out, I think it was like 88. There was nothing like it. It was twisted and different and hilarious. And this movie is trying to live up to that. And it's hard to live up to the original. It's always hard to live up to the original.
Yeah.
But they brought back a lot of the folks, right? It's like we got the gang back together. We're going to do a lot of silly stuff. We're going to make you laugh. We're going to have a good time, and you'll probably walk away feeling okay. Michael Keaton, who now wants to be known as Michael Keaton Douglas. That's a big thing he's been talking about this week.
Okay.
He's back as Beetlejuice, and there's so many stories going on. Like on the one hand, there's a demon chasing Beetlejuice. On the other hand, we've got Winona Ryder's back, and she's having troubles with this boyfriend of hers. We've got Jenna Ortega playing her daughter, who finally meets a boy, and maybe her life is changing, and maybe she might find a way to get along with her mother. I mean, like they've got like 4 or 5 different things going on here, and it just keeps things very spread out. I'm at 2.5 waffles. Michael Keaton is hilarious, and that's what's going to keep you coming back.
All right. Well, your timing is impeccable, Willie. Get out and see it if you want. I know I'll definitely see it at some point. We always appreciate you. Have a great weekend, and we will talk to you next week. Willie Waffle. All right. That's Willie, and we got more for you coming.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome,
W295EI,
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
It's happened again. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. This time it's the father of an accused school shooter charged in Georgia with second-degree murder and involuntary manslaughter.
These charges stem from Mr. Gray knowingly allowing his son, Colt, to possess a weapon.
Georgia Bureau of Investigation Director Chris Hosey. Colin Gray bought the gun his son is accused of using to kill 2 classmates and 2 teachers at Appalachia High School in Winder.
So these are the most severe charges ever filed against the parent of an alleged school shooter. This comes just months after Jennifer and James Crumbly were convicted of involuntary manslaughter for leaving an unsecured gun in their home, which their son Ethan used to kill 4 students at his Michigan high school.
Now, 14-year-old Cole, that's Fox's Brooke Singman. 14-year-old Cole Gray is expected in court next hour, facing 4 murder charges. Hunter Biden has pleaded guilty to 9 charges of tax evasion right before jury selection was to start.
The prosecution was allowed to read out the entire 56-page indictment, including all the lurid details about strippers, fast cars, fast women, as prosecutors had put it.
Fox's Jonathan Hunt outside the federal court in Los Angeles. Biden will be sentenced in December, a month after the president's son will be sentenced on felony gun convictions. We expect to hear today from the New York judge in the Trump criminal case on whether he'll delay the sentencing scheduled later this month, like the former president is asking for. Now in Washington, a Trump lawyer entered a not guilty plea to the revised federal 2020 election interference case against the former president. And a short time later in New York, he was critical of his rival, Vice President Harris.
She wants 4 more years to enforce a radical left agenda that poses a fundamental threat to the prosperity of every American family.
But Harris keeps raising a lot more money than him. The vice president and Democrats raised $361 million last month. The Trump August fundraising was less than half that. America's listening to Fox News.
Jerry Padgett, the second enlisted in the U.S. Navy and deployed multiple times to Iraq and Afghanistan until Jerry was catastrophically injured in an improvised explosive device blast. Now, Jerry received a new smart home thanks to our friends at the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Now, the home is in the foundation's Let Us Do Good Village. It's in Florida, and Jerry now lives more independently thanks to the specially adaptive technologies. Commit to $11 a month, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org. Hey, I'm going to let you in on a wireless hack that can cut your cell phone bill in half. Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile, they want you to think that unlimited data is fantastic. Well, the fact is, it's not. Pure Talk, my cell phone company, only charges you for data that you need. With just $25 a month, you get unlimited talk, unlimited text, 5 gigs of data, plus mobile hotspot. Just dial pound 250, say the keyword save now, and do it now. You'll save an additional 50% off your first month. Save money, same service with Pure Talk.
He's no longer running for re-election, but for the second day in a row, President Biden is going to go out campaigning in a battleground state for his vice president.
After a trip to Wisconsin Thursday, President Joe Biden heads to Ann Arbor, Michigan this afternoon to speak at a union trading center highlighting the president's Investing in America agenda. It's all part of a series of trips that the president will make over the next few weeks in battleground states, though White House events and not campaign stops. After President Biden dropped out of the race in July. Current Democratic presidential nominee Kamala Harris's campaign, as well as former President Donald Trump's campaign, have and continue to keep a heavy presence in must-win Michigan and other key battleground states. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
In about an hour and a half, we'll get an update on hiring and unemployment last month, something for the Federal Reserve to consider ahead of an expected interest rate cut this month.
Economists are estimating 160,000 new jobs were created in August, up from July's 114,000. The unemployment rate is forecast at 4.2% after an unexpected spike to 4.3% in July.
Well, that's Fox's Jenny Casola. Like last month, the jobs report could lead to a big stock market reaction. For now, futures are falling more than 100 points for the Dow. The NFL season kicked off last night with last-second drama.
Lamar trying to make magic happen, throw it end zone, likely 2 feet down, yes, touchdown, what a play!
That appeared to give the Ravens a chance to win or tie the game against the Chiefs with no time left on NBC. Instead, video review showed that Isaiah Likely's foot barely was out of bounds, so Kansas City held on to beat Baltimore 27-20. At tennis's U.S. Open, American Jessica Pegula won to advance to the women's finals. She'll face Aryna Sabalenka, who knocked off American Emma Navarro last night in the semis. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Good morning, WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM news time. 7:05. I'm Andrew Derminio. This update brought to you by John's Mobile Home Parts and Accessories in Oriskany Falls for all your mobile home needs. It's worth the trip. Go to johnsmobilehomeparts.com for more information. 53 degrees under sunny skies. We've got your full forecast coming up. Utica police arrested a 16-year-old that was carrying a loaded handgun in public. According to authorities, officers were called Tuesday to the area near Bleecker and Mohawk Streets for reports of young men with a handgun. The group of 4 juveniles fled when police attempted speaking to them, starting a foot pursuit. Eventually, the juvenile carrying the gun got cornered in a backyard and threw the gun on the ground, and he has since been charged with criminal possession of a weapon and firearm. The 3 other juveniles were detained and all have been released back to their guardians. Frankfort police say there was a fatal motor vehicle accident on Bleecker Street there. According to authorities, officers were called to the area on August 30th around 8:34 p.m. for reports of a man struck by a vehicle. Police attempted to revive the man, but the 42-year-old succumbed to his injuries. He was pronounced dead at the scene. The driver of the vehicle is cooperating with police, but drugs and alcohol do not appear to be a factor. No criminal charges have been filed, and the crash remains under investigation. Names will not be released out of respect for their families involved. Several people were injured in an accident on Route 5 in Kirkland, according to the Oneida County Sheriff's Office. 56-year-old Michael Sprague of Clinton was driving eastbound when his Dodge Ram exited the lane, crossed a metal fence, and went down an embankment. The truck sustained heavy damage and came to rest in a shallow creek. 2 passengers, 31-year-old Richard Walton and 33-year-old Nina Loveland, both of Rome, were taken to Wynn Hospital for minor injuries. Sprague reported no injuries. The crash is still under investigation. And Westmoreland schools have added a new employee to patrol the halls. Shiffin, a 2-year-old yellow lab, will serve as the district's new therapy dog. Shiffin replaces retired service dog Debbie and comes from the Susquehanna Service Dogs in Pennsylvania. She's been trained to assist students who need a mental or emotional boost and also inspire students. Shiffin will accompany district psychologist David Hoffman, who says the dog is already having a tremendous impact on the students there. It is 7:07. Your weather forecast is brought to you by the new destination Kia of Utica on Commercial Drive in Yorkville. For today, we will expect mostly sunny skies, a high in the lower 80s. Overnight, we'll see an increase in clouds with temperatures going to about 69 degrees. Then for tomorrow, not a great look. Rain showers, thunderstorms, and temperatures only in the mid-60s. Then sunshine returns on Sunday, but still cooler temperatures, a high only in the mid-60s. Right now, we're at 53 degrees under mostly clear skies at 7:08. Sports brought to you by IBEW NECA 43, local contractors. The Yankees were off last night, so they didn't disappoint me. But the New York Mets, they remain red hot as they look to continue that winning streak. They'll host the Cincinnati Reds for a 3-game series that begins tonight at Citi Field. Sean Manaea is slated to make his 28th start of the season. He enters 11-5 with a 3.35 ERA and 154 strikeouts over 150-plus innings. New York is tied for the final NL wildcard spot at 76-64. Definitely some excitement in the NFL last night. We'll get to that in just a minute. But Jets quarterback Aaron Rodgers feeling good about the season. Rodgers said before Thursday's practice he holds himself to a high standard and expects greatness when he takes the field. The 40-year-old joked about smirking after the 4th snap of the game, something that was no joke in last year's season opener, as everyone knows about that. The Giants are preparing for their Week 1 opponent, the Minnesota Vikings, at MetLife Stadium. They made themselves some cap space yesterday. According to ESPN, the G-Men have restructured linebacker Bobby Okereke's contract. The move opens up $4.5 million in cap space. Okereke was due to have a base salary of $7.9 million. New York also released linebacker Carter Coughlin. The Giants open the season on Sunday night when they host the Vikings. And the new NFL season began with a bang last night as the Baltimore Ravens appeared to have scored a touchdown with no time left on the clock. They would have been a point behind Kansas City and were going to go for 2 for the win. However, this is how the game ended.
Down to 1 play, 5 seconds to go. Lamar trying to make magic happen, throw it end zone, Likely 2 feet down, yes, touchdown, what a play! Going for 2 and the win are the Ravens on opening night.
The runner's toe hit out of bounds. It's an incomplete pass. The game is over. Kansas City has won.
27
Arrowhead Stadium going nuts there.
Win on
Already one of the loudest stadiums in the league, and obviously when the ref gave that call, they were about to go for two. They were going for it and all ready to do the 2-point conversion to try to win the game when the refs called them off and said, not so fast. So the Chiefs, some would argue, get help from the referees once again, but it was a dramatic fashion and a great start to week 1 of the NFL. Bill, did you watch the game last night?
I did. That was totally a touchdown at the end.
Oh, yeah.
Only because totally. His foot did not cross that line because I hate Patrick Mahomes.
The refs are always helping the Chiefs. Why?
Of course. Listen, clearly he stepped on the line. It was not a touchdown. But the reality is, in any other game, they would have looked the other way. They would have. But that was the Bills. They would have just, give me a break.
So, Bill, I don't know if you picked up on this. I only watched the first half, but most of us know who Ed Hockley is if you've watched NFL for a long time. Did you see who the lead referee was last night?
His son,
Andrew Hockley.
Yeah.
He's pretty decent though, isn't he?
See, I mean, I don't think you get to that level unless you're good at what you do. I saw the name, I was a little shocked.
Yeah, like father, like son.
Yeah.
So, well, anyway, your big game.
All in all, the Chiefs rightfully won that game, and once again, that piece of garbage Mahomes finds ways to step all down the field and win, and I hate it.
I know. You dealt with Tom Brady for all those years, being a Bills fan, and now you've got this Patrick Mahomes character you have to deal with. Yeah. But it was an exciting start to the NFL season, and there are a lot of great games on tap. Now, you're in Buffalo. Are you going to stay and stick around for the game on Sunday against the Cardinals?
Actually, I'm with Josh Allen right now, and we're strategizing. We're actually using one of the Taylor Swift plays.
Oh.
Yeah, this should be pretty good.
The Swifty Shuffle. I like it.
I believe it. Yeah. We will not. We're coming right back, and because I got to see Syracuse tomorrow, and
you've got to watch these games from the comfort of your own home. You can't be screwing around.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not I do enjoy watching from the comfort of home. That's
good. Well, Richard I haven't seen that he's weighed in at all this morning, but I'm sure he'll be happy to hear from you. We're glad you were able to take a little time this morning to call in, but you have a very specific purpose of why you want to call in this morning.
I wanted to tell you that Richard is here with me, and he's actually substituting. He's going through my cancer appointment today. So,
that's so nice.
And I listen, and we say this because every time I'm off, he's like, "What? It must be so nice to be you." Well, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, not right now.
not at this very moment. But listen, it is what it is. I appreciate the fact that he would, doesn't like me taking days off. Nonetheless, well, I just want to say on this issue of the Frankfurt, the Frankfurt gun that went off at the school.
Yeah, at an elementary school open house.
Have we had any? Is there any update? Because I'm not in touch here.
I put a call into Frankfurt Police yesterday because why not? And, of course, we hear things, you and I, we hear things from people, and, we can't ever run with it or go with anything until we've confirmed it, right? So I figured I'd call the Frankfurt Police Department.
Well, and for the record, that does not always mean confirming it through authorities. We could very well satisfy our own confirmation with our own interviews, and as long as we are satisfied, I mean, we've certainly done this before. You run a story, and it's a legitimate story, and you have the facts, and you have usually 2, maybe even 3 people who saw something and are backing it up, and we can run with it. You don't absolutely need police. But go ahead. And then I want House opinion on this, too.
Yeah, so basically, we had gotten some information, which we still won't release until we've got absolute confirmation on it. But I figured, why not go to the source? Why not call the Frankfurt Police Department? And that is exactly what I did. And I asked.
What we do.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
It is what we do.
And so I asked for the chief, and I believe that I was speaking to him as he said, yes, this is the chief. And I said, do you have any information about the gun that was discharged at this elementary school event? And had mentioned to him what we had heard. And basically he was told, this is an open investigation. You didn't hear that information from this office, and we have no comment at this time.
So this happened on Tuesday. My only comment, and again, I'd like Steve Hauk's take on this, without the parties being involved, without the chief, without anybody, this is not a personal swipe necessarily. However, this doesn't make Frankfort, the town of, it doesn't make Herkimer County look very good right now. And especially there are a number of situations that have happened in Herkimer County over the last couple of years where things seem to be swept under the rug, seem to be, you drive your vehicle into the wall at Kmart, you're charged with all sorts of driving recklessly or under the influence charges, and yet you're reelected. And you remain judging others who might very well do the same thing. It just blows my mind. But in this case, I just can't believe it is now Friday, and we don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Now, that tells me one thing. Either it's a giant mystery as to whose gun went off inside the school on Tuesday night, which we are quite sure, based on our sources, everybody knows who it was and what happened. The fact that this is being held as if we are. I'm sorry, I'm getting in the vehicle to head over to the.
No problem.
So, which my car might take over the phone. the fact that we don't
listen to the orchestra that you have.
Great
it's
sound.
Like, is that a Ricky Z little tune that he plays when you get in your car?
The Ricky Z piano work comes standard with the CX-90.
I love that.
Steve Connie Mazda Commercial Drive in Yorkville, where it's always easy, to buy a brand new Mazda.
That's right.
All right. So what I'm saying, though, is come on. This looks so bad that this is not out. Everybody else knows what happens. People are talking about it. Everyone knows. The police say it's an ongoing investigation. We can't say anything. Bullcrap. It sounds like some cover-up to me. And that's the first thing people are going to think. It makes Frankfort, the town of, look bad. It makes Herkimer County look bad when you compile it with all the other cases that have been going on there. Give me a break. Release this, because if this was Joe Blow, who dropped his gun and it went off and hit someone, shrapnel from the bullet hit someone, that person most likely would have been arrested on Tuesday night. We'd all be reading about it, even in the OD, probably 4 days late, but we'd be reading about it there.
Yeah.
I mean, give me a break. If this was Joe Blow, yes, if this was Joe Blow, we would know all about this, and that's bullcrap. And to me, it's a good example of the fact that there is no OD anymore. There is no Evening Telegram. I understand that wasn't the most hard-hitting news paper in the world, but at least there were reporters there, like Donna Thompson, asking questions. And it's almost like, we're above the law. We can do or say whatever we want. And, oh, by the way, I'm not going to get on 5S for fear that I'm going to get a ticket now for saying what I'm saying right now. This is bullcrap.
Take the throughway. Steve Hauk, what are your
thoughts? Steve, you've always told us, get in front of this stuff. Get in front of it. Otherwise, the public looks on the agency, on the community, as if they're trying to cover something up, or some people are privileged. And I got to tell you, this certainly feels that way, doesn't it? When we can't get any information on something that's so obvious and happened in broad daylight.
Yeah,
in front of tens of, a lot of people. Dozens.
There's a few things that I've learned over the years that I try to instill on people when I talk about public information and I teach, is that, first of all, we don't get to decide what's important to the public. The strangest stories that I've come across in police work that I think are not really interesting, or why would people care about this? People care. We don't get to decide what people feel is important. That's not our role. And secondly, is that you have an obligation in government. It's not private. So if something happens and you're working and you're there in your official capacity, you can't keep it private because it might be embarrassing to someone, even if it's your own agency. Public information belongs to the public. So when you have something that is of significant, it's important to people, they care about it, significant in some way, you have an obligation as a government official to share that information that as long as it doesn't interfere with some sort of investigation, you have an obligation to share that information with the public. It's simple.
And there may very well be, again, I often try to think of these situations where, you know what, they know something that we don't know, and it could very well justify maybe not releasing a name or justify who knows what.
Sure.
I always try to give whoever I'm dealing with the benefit of the doubt. And that may be the case. But get out in front of this. Hold a press conference. This is what happened. This happened in a school. And, oh, by the way, 2 days later, some kid walks into a Georgia school and shoots up and kills 2 teachers and 2 students. So this is something that should be on the minds of the people of Frankfort and all of us. But to almost scold Andrew yesterday and say we don't have anything and anything you have isn't official. And I got to give credit to WKTV because they've been pushing hard on this story since they broke it on Tuesday night. And I don't think they're any further ahead of the game than we are. However, the problem is we all know the real story, or at least what is believed to be the real story. Half of Frankfurt's already talked about it and posted it on Facebook.
Yeah.
So why are we holding this back? Why are you not getting out in front of it? Is the town of Frankfurt above the law? And this happened in a school. That kid could be dead right now, or whoever was, we don't know, whoever was injured after that gun, we have been told, fell on the floor and discharged.
Yeah, it could have hit anybody. Could have hit anyone. Yeah.
Worst.
Yeah.
This could have been a fatality.
And listen,
I hope the people in the town of Frankfurt, are, and those whose kids go to school there, are up in arms over this.
And public information, and I've learned, because not only just the things that I've been involved with directly, but assisting and advising agencies throughout the country, is that they have a way of steamrolling. It's like a big snowball pushing down the hill. If you don't stop it early enough, it gets out of control, and then it becomes unmanageable. And and then you start to have people speculate, why isn't this being put out there? What's going on here? Is there something bigger? So if I would just,
is there a cover up? Is there someone being protected?
Yeah, and I certainly hope that's not the case. I would just encourage that. Personally, and again, I'm completely uninvolved from the incident whatsoever, but it's uncomfortable sometimes. But that is that's the job. Sometimes you have to deal with uncomfortable things. You rip the Band-Aid off and you move on.
Yeah, and again, we don't know unequivocally the full story,
right.
And which is why we're not reporting on it specifically. But the reality is, this happened. It just is amazing to me that something as major as this happened in a school in our area, and we're now Friday. It's Friday, and we don't know anything officially. That to me is the egregious part of this whole story. Not the fact that someone had a gun, whether they were eligible to have that gun in the school or not. The average person with a carry permit cannot have a gun in a school. That is against the law. There are some exceptions. That would be a police officer, for instance, or a resource officer who could, I believe, have a gun in a school. But just the mere fact that we're sitting here as a public, the people of Frankfurt and the parents whose kids go to that school are sitting here in the dark. I mean, I'd like to hear from other people. Of course, I won't hear from you because I'm far away. But I hope people are up in arms about this and demand answers, because it's your tax dollars that pay for the services that are there to protect you.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
It is, and hopefully we'll get some answers. I don't know that we will, and maybe one thing I'll also ask Steve Houck here is, with an investigation like that, do you foresee there being complications as to why that this may not be released? I know you're not involved, but I mean, with an incident like this, is it pretty cut and dry if something like that were to happen with all those witnesses?
Before Steve answers that, if I could just say, it isn't even that it has to be, all information has to be released. Yeah. An update to the community, an update to the news outlets that are trying to cover this story. Just give an update so that your face is on the record, your words are on the record. To me, that is more important than anything. But sorry, Steve, you're the expert.
No, not at all. Well, I would say probably no. I wouldn't think there'd be anything that stop you from doing a basic information share, if for anything, is to maybe calm some fears. Because I'm sure that if there were a lot of people at the school, and I was at my daughter's open house, and there was a lot of people there, a lot of kids there, a lot of people there, that could be a frightening thing for someone, even an accident.
Very alarming.
So maybe just to explain to people and not let the rumor mill run with it and say, look, here's what happened. It was a terrible accident, but unfortunately, no one was seriously hurt. But here's what we know as of right now. I don't see an issue with that interfering with any sort of investigation.
We'll see what happens. Justin and Herkimer commenting on the app. Herkimer County is good old boys club, small town politics at its worst, from the police departments to the county officials. That's Justin and Herkimer.
Well, and that's the type of stuff that spreads. That's what you start getting. That's what you start hearing. People become suspicious of their public officials. And you know what? That is really terrible for the majority of public officials in Herkimer County are really good people who abide by the law, who understand that they are public servants to the people. And, this just makes all of them look bad. And we're doing real news on any given day. And then you had newspapers. And you add TV to that, and we had a pretty good force of members of the media that were there to ask questions and report on things, and that just doesn't exist today. A loss of the OD, and I think the Sentinel is doing a really great job, but you have a Pulitzer Prize-winning newspaper in the Observer-Dispatch that specialized in investigative reporting, and many people hated them for that over the years. But boy, be careful what you hate, because when it's gone, you don't realize what you had. What a loss of news people and investigative, hard-hitting reporters who are willing to put their necks out for the community, because the community deserves to know what's going on with the tax dollars that they spend and with the people that are put in charge of that money.
Well,
that's a shame.
It definitely is. And, Bill, we appreciate you taking the time. Hopefully your blood pressure is
Andrew,
not skewed.
I am not yet out of the car, so I've got another 10 minutes before I get into the garage. So let's keep it going.
Well,
I'm kidding.
I would say we don't want your blood pressure impacted for your appointment. And I hear your wonderful wife, Allie, in the car as well. Good morning, Allie. And thank you for sitting through all that.
Well, she only elbowed me 3 times.
You got live feedback in there. That's awesome. So, all right. Well, as I usually
had that when I was in the studio.
Right? Yes. Well, I usually have to control the spots in the studio, and it's difficult. But now I do have to take a break. Is there anything else you want to add?
Well, and can I say one more thing?
Of course you can.
And that is, I know Richard. Richard, I do appreciate the fact that you do listen, and you get angry every time I do A, B, and C, and that includes taking a vacation, taking a sick day, going to Roswell for an appointment, whatever it might be. I do appreciate that. The other part of this is, Andrew, you're doing a tremendous job.
Well, thank you.
And in this case this morning, Steve Houck in. And Steve, we appreciate it as well. You're doing a great job.
Absolutely.
There's no need for me at this point. You guys have everything under control, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Well, we do appreciate you taking the time. It's always a pleasure, and we'll talk to you Monday morning.
All right.
Take care, Bill.
Go Mets, go Bills. I'll give you that one, okay? How's that?
I love it. I love it. Big weekend.
All right. Talk to you later. Bye-bye. Our very own Bill Keeler there. Mike, hang on the line. We'll get to you shortly. We've got Technical Sergeant Jack Keeler in the other room, so we have a lot to get through this morning. We're going to move the free money question to the 8 o'clock hour. We are going to do that because it is a sports-related question as football season is underway. So I'll give you that hint, a rare hint, early on in the hour for next hour's free money question of the day. We will give that money away, hopefully, but we still have a lot to jam into 29 minutes, including Mike Barone coming up with a startling story he has for us about an incident he had recently with regard to another photographer in the area. So we'll get to that quickly. We do have to take a commercial break as we haven't in 32 minutes. That break will be quick as possible. Then we'll be back with Mike and Technical Sergeant Jack Keeler in minutes on WIBX.
This is Bill Cole from Gates Cole Insurance. Finding insurance coverage can be an overwhelming undertaking. As your local independent insurance company, we work hard for you to get the best coverage.
My name is Timothy Dean. I'm from Tabor, New York. I have Dean's Concessions. I travel throughout New York State. I have been a customer for over 20 years, personal with Gates Cole, and ever since I've started my business for the last 18 years have been solely with Gates Cole Insurance. As I have to call them from time to time to get certificates, and they take in within 15-20 minutes. We have a certificate. Gates Cole has exceptional customer service. They're there for you, and I have referred people to Gates Cole, and those people that have transferred over to Gates Cole have been very happy with their services.
This is Tom Cole. For insurance for your home, auto, business, and just about everything else, trust your local independent insurance agency. Gates Cole Insurance. We'll take care of you.
Save thousands on the new revolutionary swim spa at a one-time sale.
Friday through Sunday.
Herkimer County Fairgrounds.
Exercise with low impact.
Swim the entire year and stay in shape.
Teach your kids to swim.
Unwind and save thousands.
Avoid the expense and maintenance involved with a pool.
Swim, exercise, and relax in your new aquatic exercise swim spa.
Installation and 1 day only.
New 2024 inventory.
18-month interest-free financing.
Millions of dollars of inventory must be sold.
Herkimer County Fairgrounds.
Free admission.
Free parking. Call 855-SPA-SALE.
Don Hartman and staff would like to invite you to save 30% on timeless treasures at the Potting Shed Antiques. For the entire month of September, enjoy 30% off the entire store, excluding gold jewelry and coins. Find unique items like furniture, lighting, stoneware, china, toys, glass, silver, costume jewelry, collectibles, and more. Visit us on Oriskany Boulevard in Whitesboro or online at thepottingshedantiques.com. Open Thursday through Saturday. Come find your next one-of-a-kind piece today at the Potting Shed Antiques.
Mattress Express's Labor Day sale is here. Take up to 60 months to pay for anything in the store with no money down for qualified customers. Save up to $700 on Tempur-Pedic, $1,000 on Purple, $700 on Stearns & Foster, and $1,350 on Puffy.
Save thousands on the new revolutionary swim spa at a one-time sale.
Today through Sunday.
Herkimer County Fairgrounds.
Exercise with low impact.
Swim the entire year and stay in shape.
Teach your kids to swim.
Unwind and save thousands.
Avoid the expense and maintenance involved with a pool.
Swim, exercise, and relax in your new aquatic exercise swim spa.
Installation and 1 day only.
New 2024 inventory.
18-month interest-free financing.
Millions of dollars of inventory must be sold.
Herkimer County Fairgrounds.
Free admission.
Free parking.
Call 855-SPA-SALE.
Hi, I'm Rachel, and I have a serious heart condition called hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, or HCM. Some symptoms include being short of breath, feeling tired, or having dizziness or chest pain. I still had symptoms on my beta blocker, so I asked my cardiologist about any treatment advances. It was a breakthrough for me. That's why I'm working with Bristol Myers Squibb to raise awareness about HCM and to help others like me. Talk to your cardiologist today and visit hcmrealtalk.com for more information.
Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb. We're going abroad for the first time in years. To Spain. So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
First news, Keeler in the morning. It is a Friday. There's never enough time, I feel like, when I'm in this chair, and now I have a new appreciation of how difficult Bill's job is to keep everything on time and on track. So we'll try to move as quickly as possible. We don't want to make Mike Marone wait any longer. This is a story that both of you will appreciate. Steve Houck is my guest host this morning, and we appreciate him taking the time this morning. Good morning.
Morning.
Also in studio is Technical Sergeant Jack Keeler, and we've known him for years as Trooper Jack Keeler, our Troop D, State Police Public Information Officer, but rising through the ranks, deservedly so, in the New York State Police Department. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
So we'll get to you in a second. A lot of questions about some things that
Sure.
did or didn't happen at the Great New York State Fair this year.
Yes.
We'll get to that shortly. But on the line right now, I want to quickly go to Mike because he's been patiently waiting. And we have a story on our website, WIBX950.com. But I wanted to get to Mike and hear it from him. Mike is a local photographer in the area, and as we know, it's back to school time, so there's a lot of kids going back to school. And one of the big milestones for any senior graduating from high school is that senior photo, right? Nancy Ford did a lot of photoshopping with mine, and it's a big time. It's an exciting moment for seniors to have their senior portraits done. But Mike, you experienced something recently that was a little bit disturbing to you. Can you share a little bit about what happened in your experience with it?
I did. So I went to look at some backdrops in Manlius. And when I got there, he was in the industry for 50 years, had an extensive portfolio. I mean, his studio was 1,500 square feet. And the backdrops and everything just wasn't for me. So I was like, hey, I have to go because I have to go see my wife and we have plans and whatnot because I was traveling an hour back to Utica. So he kept on going on and on and on and just kept me there. And I was like, all right, this is, this is kind of ridiculous, but I'm glad I stayed because he started showing me these albums that he had. And he had a print on the wall of this girl in a button up. And then he had a print in the album of the girl in a tank top, and she was kind of leaning over, and she, was developed, if you want to say that.
Yeah.
And he started talking about the girls' bodies, how they wish they took more off, and how he was trying to get them to be more comfortable.
Wow.
And they had model he just he went really deep into it, and he was very passionate. He kept on laughing, and it was something that I would never say about a 17-year-old. I mean, I'm 38. He was in his 60s. I just felt a very dark cloud come over when I was there. I was like, all right, this guy, there's something wrong with him. Maybe he's done stuff in the past that nobody knows about. And I had to bring it to light because, this actually happened to a friend of mine, Emily, back when I was in high school. And I just found out about it because of this post. She had a photographer that wanted to put, all this makeup on her, that wanted her to change into the skimpy dress, do these certain poses. And thankfully, her mother was there. And about halfway through, her mother grabbed her daughter and said, "We're leaving the studio. I don't know what you're trying to do, but we're done."
So essentially what you're saying is you went to this guy's studio who was retiring to possibly buy some equipment, and he starts going on this diatribe and basically admitting to you that with the absence of parents for some of these seniors shoots, that he was basically in a way acting somewhat predatory. Thank you for saving my vocabulary there. Was acting in a predatory manner towards the subject, the student getting their picture taken.
Correct. And the fact of the matter is, some kids grow up with both parents. Some kids grow up with just a mom or a dad. And sometimes they don't have the right guidance to know what's right or wrong. And they have an adult there that is trying to do something that they shouldn't be doing. And maybe that child trusts them because they're like, oh, they're an adult. I should just trust what they're saying. But that's not always the case. I would never want a senior to come to me for a shoot without their parents.
Yeah.
Like ever. I always want the parents there because it also makes the senior comfortable and it doesn't set that creepy vibe,
Yeah, it's photography in its nature is a very intimate art form, right? As it is, right? You're think about where you hire photography at your wedding, or there's other photographers who specialize in
families,
certain types of things, and there's family portraits. It's a very intimate experience. So, we talk about vulnerability and victims, and Steve Houck mentioned that, on and off the air this morning about various people who can fall into vulnerable categories. So I appreciate you bringing this to light because you just never know. And, somebody using the guise of, well, I'm just going for the best angle, or I'm just trying to, get the best possible look. Some people may not even know what the true intentions are there.
And that's the thing and the fact of the matter is that, I keep all my photos because let's say in 20 years, a senior or a family or a wedding says, hey, I lost all of the photos. I'll have them to give back to them. But, for him, it seemed more like he was keeping the photos for malicious reasons where he was looking at them in a very different way, and that's what really kind of, after he was saying that, I abruptly left. I was like, all right, I got to go. And I just walked out.
Yeah.
I was very upset after that because I have children. I have friends that are in their teens, I have friends that have children in their teens.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where it kind of hit close to home. And I felt the need to just kind of like publicize it and say, listen, never let your senior or any of your children go out alone with somebody that you trust. I mean, even if you trust them, still go with them, because you never know.
Especially with something like that.
And one of the concerns, Mike, is today's day and age with all this digital technology is someone that had access or might have a photo like that, it wouldn't be hard to make its way onto the darker part of the web, if you will. So these photos can live forever, and the person who's in the picture doesn't even know that it's out there, and it's just making the rounds.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I never thought that's a great point. I never thought of that, and that's very true.
Yeah.
Again, that's why I take photos where it's not seductive. It's very homey, where it's very natural and it's the way you should be posing.
Yeah,
and
it's a senior picture. It doesn't need to be a glam shot or anything like that.
We're not doing boudoir here where, the girl comes in and, so I always try to keep it very wholesome.
And if you do need a subject matter to test that out, Andrew be willing to sit for a shoot for you.
Nobody wants that. Nobody. We've actually had to turn down wedding photographers. They said, I saw the groom. We're not interested. No, but in all seriousness, Michael Marone Photography. Quick plug as we've got to move on here. We really appreciate you taking the time to kind of bring this to light. And just kind of as another reminder for parents to just be careful. Most parents are always very protective of their kids, but especially with something like this, you don't want to mess around with. How do people get in touch with you if they want to get their senior pictures done or any other photography work?
Well, I have a website, which is michaelmaronephotography.com. I have a Facebook page, which is, again, my business name. I have an Instagram. You could text me. Every different avenue of how do you get in touch with me. You can call me, text me, whatever. I will always answer. I'm very prompt with my communication because I feel like that's very important. So again, my phone's always on and my door is always open.
All right, Michael Marone Photography, thanks so much for joining us with this very important public service announcement today.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you.
All right, have a good weekend. Michael Marone Photography. We will take a very short break because, I'm going to get yelled at by the powers that be if we don't play the commercials. 1 minute, and then we're back with Technical Sergeant Jack Keeler from the New York State Police Department here in 1 minute on WIBX.
Warning, the following ZipRecruiter radio spot you are about to hear is going to be filled with F words.
When you're hiring, we at ZipRecruiter know you can feel frustrated, forlorn even, like your efforts are futile. And you can spend a fortune trying to find fabulous people, only to get flooded with candidates who are just
Fine. Fortunately, ZipRecruiter figured out how to fix all of that. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, you can forget your frustrations because we find the right people for your roles fast, which is our absolute favorite F word. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day.
Fantastic.
So, whether you need to hire 4, 40, or 400 people, get ready to meet first-rate talent. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. Don't forget, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Finally, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Things are moving in Herkimer County. Thursday, September 5th, kicks off Marathon Weekend in Old Forge with 4 days of races, including trail runs from 5K to 50K, gravel grinder bike races, and kayak races. At the same time, the 90-mile Adirondack Canoe Classic launches from Old Forge. In southern Herkimer County, the Falling Footsteps 5K gets people moving in Richfield Springs Thursday the 9th. Recharge at the Mohawk Valley Farmers Market every Friday in Herkimer. Then get to the famous Mohawk Valley Garlic Festival Saturday, September 14th in Little Falls. Leaves are starting to change color, so anywhere you go in Herkimer County is a feast for your eyes, and the lineup of festivals and activities feed your mind and body. For further information and details, click on experienceherkimercounty.com. Herkimer County, I love New York.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
Second hour almost in the books. First news, Keeler in the morning. It is a Friday. It's going to be a gorgeous day today. Not so much for the weekend, but hopefully you get out and enjoy yourself a little bit today. Maybe leave work early and get out there and enjoy the sunshine. One guy always hard at work is Technical Sergeant Jack Keeler with the New York State Police Department. He is now the Assistant Director of Public Information for the New York State Police. You've been many a times in this studio.
Yes.
Singing for our Christmas show.
Oh, yeah.
You've been through
Frank
it all.
Coots.
That's right.
Yes.
He was a great man and enjoying retirement.
Yes, he is.
But we're happy to have you back in studio. Good morning.
Good morning. Nice to see you guys.
Great to see you. And one thing that Steve can relate to and you can relate to is my text in the midst of some emergent crisis that you're dealing with.
Yes.
I'll never disappoint. You know,
no.
What's going on? But it was actually this past Sunday that I had texted you because the fair, we had been getting word and gossip that the Great New York State Fair was ending early due to possible shots fired. What actually happened that you can release? And what went into the decision to shut down the fair Sunday night?
So the ultimate question still remains, what really happened?
Yeah, right.
So there's last day of the state fair.
So many stories.
Day 12 of 13 days of state fair. And typically it's a busy weekend for us. That Labor Day weekend is typically for the state fair the highest attended. And so we had a concert started at 8 o'clock. And we had a good crowd in there. I believe the end result was 39,000 people attended that concert. At one point, just as the concert was beginning, there was calls from the 911 center who related to our dispatch that there was a report of a shooting just outside the concert venue, in which we had troopers immediately in the area to respond to that area, and then shortly thereafter there was another report of possible shots fired over by the eatery, which is on the other side of the actual venue. So we are constantly walking those grounds, as you are well aware. And at one point we were having a sea of people running towards those troopers as they were running against them, trying to find out.
Which can probably be an intimidating and scary sight.
A sight to be seen.
Yeah.
We were able to get there within seconds, right? And as people were saying, hey, we heard a shots fired, we're still determining exactly what did they hear, because when they got there, there was no one there that was a victim or there was any evidence of an actual shooting. So two reports, two different areas. So the great question still is, what did they hear? And luckily for us, we have drones up that we use for traffic, we're able to put them over within seconds. Also, we also have multiple cameras, surveillance there, for us, and we checked everything for hours. I mean, we checked everything before the actual call went in to afterwards, and it is yet to be determined. People, not to say that they didn't hear what they thought they heard, but there is no evidence still today, that we can provide an idea of where the actual account came from.
And you can determine at this point, right, after several days now and reviewing of footage, and there are no ballistic evidence of a shot ever being fired, no casing, no shell, no exit or bullet hole anywhere. You do not believe at this time that there was an actual shooting that took place.
Yeah, I mean, we luckily, again, we have all the resources available to us right there on site. So that night, we were able to bring our dogs in. We have BDU dogs, which is bomb detection unit dogs, which typically has the ability to sense anything from a shell casing to gunfire. They detect all those things. We brought those right over to this area where those 2 calls were coming in from. We were able to interview those 911 callers. 911 provides us the phone numbers when they called in. We followed up with them. We interviewed them. We continued to follow up with them, asking them, where were you? What did you see? And most of them telling us they heard from someone that there was shots fired.
The old telephone game.
And it's tough, right? Usually, and it's like a mass scare. There's chaos.
Yeah.
People are scared, they're hypertensive to hear when you hear something like active shooter or there was a shooting, and then it went very viral on the social media, which we determined quickly that once we found out that there was no evidence at either location, we consulted quickly with the state fair director, who she decided that out of the abundance of caution, let's close this down, only because parents are hearing about this who aren't at the fair. They're worried about their kids be at the fair. And again, priority number 1 is safety and security for both of us, state police, of course, and with state fair. So the decision was made to close an hour early. We closed at 9 instead of 10.
Yeah. And
so I think parents, what I'm getting from this is that most, if not all parents, were very happy with that decision.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, is there was, people that were upset by that, and there's always going to be your critics, but God forbid you hadn't closed and there was an incident.
Correct.
And then you would have been dealing with the repercussions of that. So, and it was only 1 hour early. I mean,
it really was. I mean, and then again, there was some false reporting that people, I know we've seen the screenshots that came in as 6 people were shot, and that was totally wrong.
I saw the shooter.
I see the shooter. And then when you bring them back, we had some teens that reported that on their Facebook page. We got a call from a mother saying that was my son who posted that. I want to bring him back. So she brought her son back to the fairgrounds that night at 1 a.m, where we sat down and we actually walked to the area where he was, and then he somehow forgot where he was and determined that this wasn't really what he thought he saw. So it was it looks to be not a hoax, but again, it's a misinterpretation of what maybe somewhat heard, whether it was something falling. Some people are telling us that the concert was very loud. Maybe they heard it, through the music itself in the background. We don't know. So it's still, open investigation, but at this point, nothing has really changed.
Now, and that brings us to a new point, and this is something you talk about a lot, Steve, as well, as this impact of social media on your job and your ability to do it. And, you talk about, maybe a hoax, or, is there some, kind of cred that comes along with, or some popularity or extra clicks or likes or attention given if you say, yeah, I saw this, oh my gosh, it happened to me, and people will be drawn to that post. Right. I mean, is it possible there was a little bit of that going on?
Well, I think, and Steve can elaborate on this too, that people are hypervigilant. When they hear or see somebody running, it's contagious. Similar to when you go into a movie theater and yell fire, right? Everybody starts running because they don't want to be caught in a bad situation. I think being an outside venue, you got 39,000 people there. You had people both saying, I heard something, and then you got people saying, I was standing right next to, a trooper, or they're standing right there, and they didn't see anything or hear anything. So it's, again, left to interpretation. I think, another thing is, if we were to have something that actually occurred there with 39,000 people in attendance, you got vendors there, you've got troopers there.
Everywhere, right?
You would have had, I would have had hundreds of videos to pull from, and then having the ability to have drones over the area, to have the surveillance photo, we were able to determine very quickly where those those calls came in from. We're able to interview those people and quickly determine that there was no, or doesn't appear to be any shooting to this day. So it still remains a question of what did they hear.
Yeah, Technical Sergeant Jack Keeler with us from the New York State Police. We only have a couple minutes left. There were a few incidents that were unfortunate at the fair. I know there was the fight with the, again, we talk about youth violence continuing to be a problem, not only here locally, but across the state and across the country. We had a few unfortunate stabbing incidents involving young children, and there was, I think, one incident where a North Carolina man was apprehended with an illegal long gun near the state fair entrance.
That wasn't on the state fair grounds, but that was quite, he was basically using his GPS. GPS told him to get off at the wrong exit, puts him in front of the state fair. Right next to the state fair is what they call Crucible Steel. He was getting out of his vehicle in the middle of a highway, which drew the attention of a trooper. Why he got out, his doors apparently on the back of the trailer itself was not closed, so he went to secure them. And then he started driving around kind of aimlessly. So troopers were asking if he was lost. At one point, he reveals the fact that, I might have something illegal inside the cab, which turned out to be, an assault weapon. He was very cooperative with us. And he's from North Carolina. So, North Carolina.
Different down there.
They're legal down there. And he forgot to take it out basically when he started traveling to New York State. So he would quickly, he was given an appearance ticket, and he was charged with criminal possession of a weapon. But again, I think teens, we had an incident with a double stabbing that first or second night involving teens. And that was a dispute that's been, going back and forth for some time that spilled over to the state fair. So it brings, you have that many people that attend. You get over 800,000 that attended the fair this year.
Wow.
So I think, for us, it's a mini city for 12 days, 13 days. But we kind of take pride in the fact that we try to make people feel safe.
And I think overall, if those were the few incidents that occurred, you did a wonderful job. And I know we appreciate it as the public. And I'm sure you're, to an extent, while it was a good time for some, you're glad it's over and you're already preparing for next year.
And that's something we do. I know we talk about it, about what did go well, what didn't go well. I mean, there's always room for improvement no matter where you are. Certainly for law enforcement, technology is ever evolving. I know people were asking us about the drones, people asking us the ability to make sure, how do you make sure people feel safe in an open venue? Certainly with things that are ongoing throughout the country, that people want to feel safe, and we want to take pride in making people feel safe and secure. I know you're going to get those people that say that, they don't want to come back, but we hope that, they feel safe when they attend the state fair.
Technical Sergeant Jack Keeler, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Have a good weekend. We'll be back.
Wouldn't it be great to have AC? You deserve to have air conditioning in your home. And no, I'm not talking about those clunky window units. I'm Jen from Standard, and my team is here to help. Regardless of the type of home you have or your income, we can install AC and make sure you stay comfortable this summer. And even better, in many cases, rebates and incentives significantly reduce the cost, or you could even get it for free. Call Standard Heating, Cooling, and Insulating today at 315-859-6292. We promise to save you money.
Hypertrophic cardiomyopathy is a serious heart condition. Some symptoms include being short of breath, feeling tired, or having dizziness or chest pain. My HCM impacted how I felt and what I could do. So I asked my cardiologist about treatment advances that gave me new options. That conversation was big for me. That's why I'm working with Bristol Myers Squibb to raise awareness about HCM and to help others like me. Talk to your cardiologist today and visit hcmrealtalk.com to learn more.
Sponsored by
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome, W295EI, WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
The student accused of shooting up his Georgia school is due in court this hour.
I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. 14-year-old Colt Gray.
He is facing 4 charges of felony murder for killing those 4 individuals with an AR-style weapon that law enforcement said his father gave him as a Christmas gift.
Fox's Dana Marie McNichol in Winder, Georgia, says the father, Colin Gray, is facing
the most severe charges ever filed over an alleged shooter: involuntary manslaughter, second-degree murder, and cruelty to children. The 14-year-old was on the FBI's radar last year after tips came in about alleged plans for a school shooting. Local police visited their home and questioned the father and son.
And during that meeting last year, the son denied making threats, and the father told Jackson County deputies
he knows the seriousness of weapons and what they can do and how to use them and not use them.
Hunter Biden faces a second sentencing after the president's son pleaded guilty to tax evasion in federal court in Los Angeles right before jury selection started. His attorney, Abby Lowell, says Hunter Biden decided to change his plea to guilty on all 9 charges to
protect those he loves from unnecessary hurt and cruel humiliation.
Hunter Biden was already convicted on felony gun charges. Former President Trump will be in court in 2 hours in New York, appealing the civil judgment against him, ordering him to pay author E. Jean Carroll for defaming her and denying her claims that Trump sexually assaulted her decades ago. Now, also in New York today, the judge in the Trump criminal case the former president was convicted in will rule on an attempt to delay sentencing. In 4 hours, the former president will hold a news conference the day after saying,
"My plan will rapidly defeat inflation, quickly bring down prices, and reignite explosive economic growth."
But Vice President Harris continues to out-fundraise him big time. She and Democrats raked in $361 million, more than double Trump August fundraising. America's listening to Fox News.
NYPD officer Jonathan Diller's tragic story made national headlines this year. Now, Jonathan was shot and killed by a career criminal during a traffic stop. Jonathan, who's just 31 years old, leaves behind his wife Stephanie and 1-year-old son Ryan. Now, nothing will ever replace the loss of a husband and a father, but the Tunnel to Towers Foundation was able to pay off the mortgage on the Diller family's home. Please commit to $11 a month. Go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org for the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Hey, I'm going to let you in on a wireless hack that can cut your cell phone bill in half. Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile, they want you to think that unlimited data is fantastic. Well, the fact is, it's not. Pure Talk, my cell phone company, only charges you for data that you need. For just $25 a month, you get unlimited talk, unlimited text, 5 gigs of data, plus mobile hotspot. Just dial pound 250, say the keyword save now, and do it now. You'll save an additional 50% off your first month. Save money, same service with Pure Talk.
Well, the election is still 2 months away, but today, North Carolina, a battleground state that could be a big factor in who wins the White House, plans to be the first state to mail out ballots to kick off early voting. But there's a snag. A judge who denied Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s attempt to be removed from the ballot delayed the mailing of all the ballots till afternoon today. Kennedy ended his independent bid and has endorsed former President Trump. President Biden went to another battleground state, Wisconsin.
For nearly 4 years that we've been president and vice president, with one of the most extraordinary periods of progress in American history.
He'll go to Michigan today, touting his record, and Vice President Harris. Later this hour, we'll get a big report on the economy ahead of an expected interest rate cut this month. And Fox Business Network Cheryl Casoni tells us
this could be, and I think it is going to be, the biggest jobs report of the year that we're going to follow. That is because the Fed meets in 2 weeks, and everything about the Fed's decision really is going to hinge on this report. So economists are predicting 160,000 jobs were added in the month of August, and the unemployment rate expected to drop to 4.2%.
Now, last month of July, jobs report was worse than expected. That triggered a stock market sell-off. For now, futures are down more than 100 points for the Dow. The NFL season kicked off last night. Kansas City beat Baltimore in a thriller that came down to the last play in the last second.
27-20. The Chiefs win on opening night by a toe.
On NBC, the Ravens didn't like it but had to toe the line of the officials who ruled Isaiah Likely's apparent 10-yard touchdown catch with no time on the clock was not a legal catch because the toe of Likely's shoe touched the back of the end zone and rendered him out of bounds.
That's Fox's Jared Bax. Tonight, a rare Friday NFL game in Brazil, Philadelphia versus Green Bay. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Good morning. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM News Time 8:05. I'm Andrew Derminio. This update brought to you by John's Mobile Home Parts and Accessories in Oriskany Falls. For all your mobile home needs, it's worth a trip. Go to johnsmobilehomeparts.com for more information. Utica police arrested a 16-year-old carrying a loaded handgun in public, according to authorities. Officers were called Tuesday to the area near Bleecker Street in Mohawk for reports of young men with a handgun. The group of 4 juveniles fled when police attempted speaking to them, starting a foot pursuit. Eventually, the juvenile carrying the gun got cornered in a backyard and threw the gun to the ground. He has since been charged with criminal possession of a weapon and a firearm. The 3 other juveniles were detained and all have been released back to their guardians. Frankfort police say there was a fatal motor vehicle accident that happened on Bleecker Street in Frankfort. According to authorities, officers were called to the area August 30th at around 8:34 p.m. for reports of a man struck by a vehicle. Police attempted to revive the man, but the 42-year-old succumbed to his injuries. He was pronounced dead at the scene. The driver of the vehicle is cooperating with police, but drugs and alcohol do not appear to be a factor. No criminal charges have been filed, and the crash remains under investigation. Names will not be released out of respect for the families of those involved. A Utica man was arrested for threatening a victim with a knife. According to authorities, officers were dispatched to a Newell Street residence where the victim told police her boyfriend kicked down her door before threatening her with a kitchen knife. The victim fled and saw the suspect, identified as 41-year-old Felix Fargas, walking away with her purse. Police arrested Fargas and charged him with second-degree menacing, fourth-degree grand larceny, and third-degree criminal possession of a weapon. And several people were injured in an accident on Route 5 in Kirkland. According to Oneida County Sheriff's Office, 56-year-old Michael Sprague of Clinton was driving eastbound when his Dodge Ram exited the lane, crossed a metal fence, and went down an embankment. The truck sustained heavy damage and came to rest in a shallow creek. 2 passengers, 31-year-old Richard Walton and 33-year-old Nina Loveland, both of Rome, were taken to Wynn Hospital for minor injuries. Sprague reported no injuries. The crash is still under investigation. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM News Time, 8:07. Here's your forecast. Today, mostly sunny with a high in the upper 70s, getting close to 80. We'll see an increase in clouds overnight with a low in the upper 50s. Tomorrow, we'll see rain showers, possibly a thunderstorm with a high only in the mid-60s. And then some rain turning to sunshine on Sunday with a high in the mid-60s. Right now, we are at 58 degrees under mostly sunny skies at 8:08. Sports brought to you by IBEW NECA 43 local contractors. The Yankees will start a series with the Cubs in Chicago tonight. They will look to get back on track and avoid further damaging their record as they are in a pennant race with the Baltimore Orioles. They are they are in second place in the AL East at 80 and 60. The Mets are tied for the final NL wildcard spot at 76 and 64. They'll look to make up some ground tonight as they kick off a series with the Cincinnati Reds at home from Citi Field. Sean Manaea will get the start there. The Jets will open their season. Week 1 of the NFL kicked off last night with a 27-20 victory. The Chiefs over the Ravens from Arrowhead in a nail-biter at the end of the game where the Ravens appeared to have scored a touchdown but did not. The toe of the wide receiver was on the line, so to speak, in the back of the end zone. So the Kansas City Chiefs win narrowly 27-20 there. But the New York Jets will cap off Week 1 on Monday Night Football against the San Francisco 49ers in California, and the Giants will look to kick off their season with a win against the Minnesota Vikings. And, of course, the Buffalo Bills will be playing the Arizona Cardinals in Buffalo. And, Davey, the Syracuse Orange have a tough challenge facing Georgia Tech tonight. Tomorrow. Is it tomorrow afternoon in Georgia, or are they at the Dome again?
Yeah, they play them at 12 o'clock on the ACC network at noon.
And they're home or away?
Huh?
They're home or away?
They're home. I'm sorry.
Okay, you all right?
I had to plug my headphones. I had to plug my headphones in.
There you go. All right, so the Syracuse Orange will play at noon tomorrow from the JMA Wireless Dome. A tough challenge. Hopefully they got that run defense buttoned up a little bit they'll face a very difficult Georgia Tech team. I'm going quickly because we have to break, and we have a lot to get to this morning. Dave Olney is going to be joining us this morning with his lovely wife, Dana. We're going to be talking about the Kurt Wyman Ride and Fall Festival that's coming up. And also we got Blaise Faggiano from Utica University. He will be calling in to talk about the big Believe 271 Bowl tonight to kick off their season, and a lot more to get to here. A lot to get to on the final hour on a Friday. First News Keeler in the morning on WIBX.
Whitesboro Central School District is looking for bus drivers to join their team now. Whitesboro is a leading school system in central New York with 7 schools, 3,100 students, and a 92% graduation rate. You can help drive our students' success. When you drive for Whitesboro, you get pay that's based on your experience, great benefits, a flexible schedule, and summers off. Call Andy at 315-768-9740 or stop by the garage, 20 Wood Road, Whitesboro.
Mattress Express's Labor Day sale is here. Take up to 60 months to pay for anything in the store with no money down for qualified customers. Save up to $700 on Tempur-Pedic, $1,000 on Purple, $700 on Stearns & Foster, and $1,350 on Puffy.
Save thousands on the new revolutionary swim spa at a one-time sale. Today and tomorrow. Herkimer County Fairgrounds. Exercise with low impact. Swim the entire year and stay in shape. Teach your kids to swim. Unwind and save thousands. Avoid the expense and maintenance involved with a pool. Swim, exercise, and relax in your new aquatic exercise swim spa. Installation and 1 day only. New 2024 inventory. 18-month interest-free financing. Millions of dollars of inventory must be sold. Herkimer County Fairgrounds. Free admission. Free parking. Call 855-SPA-SALE.
Hi, this is Rob Hilton of Hilton Estate and Elder Law with important information for families that have disabled children to protect the child and to ensure your future wishes are met. So if you have a disabled child, you need to provide them with what's called a special needs trust. This trust allows them to receive an inheritance from you, but also allows them to keep any governmental benefits that they are receiving. It is critically important that if they have an inheritance coming, that they not lose their benefits. Unmarried couples should be aware of important steps they need to take with their estate planning. If a partner dies and does not leave a will, the surviving partner will not likely receive any of the assets from the deceased partner. This can create a lot of problems in the future and must be resolved utilizing a will or a trust. To find out more about strategies to protect your loved ones through proper estate planning, contact us at Hilton Estate and Elder Law. Call for more information and to schedule an in-person meeting to answer your questions.
Hilton, you know the name, they know the law. Hilton Estate and Elder Law.
Hi, I'm Pete from Big Apple Music and Electronics. Do you want to protect your property or business? We sell and install hundreds of camera surveillance systems each year, and we are New York State licensed. Big Apple Music sells security cameras with Starlight night vision, giving the best picture in the dark so you have the best chance of catching criminals. Our showroom is located on Commercial Drive in New Hartford, where we can give you a demonstration or we'll come spec the job at your location. Big Apple Music, 315-732-4162.
Tommy! I can't wait for golf this weekend, huh, buddy? Time flies. Love you, man. Oh, don't forget your knee brace again. We aren't in college anymore.
Moments together matter, so help protect yourself from RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV, and there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
By now, you've probably heard of Upside, the free app that gets you real cash back at gas stations. But Upside is so much more than just a gas app. Upside lets you earn cash back at more than 85,000 grocery stores, gas stations, and restaurants, including popular national chains and local favorites. Just download the free app, claim an offer, and get real cash back on your purchase. There are no complicated points or rebates. With Upside, you can earn up to $10 cash back every time you go to the grocery store or dine out. That's up to $10 right back in your pocket on every meal out and every grocery run. The best part? You can earn on top of your credit or debit card rewards. Download Upside today. Use promo code SNACK10 and get a 10% cashback bonus on your first purchase. Get the Upside app and use promo code SNACK10 for an extra 10% cashback bonus. That's promo code SNACK10. Offers vary by user and location. Terms and conditions apply. Go to upside.com for details.
What if you could hire someone you love and trust to care for you in your own home?
Well, if you're on Medicaid, it's possible through a Medicaid-funded program and at no cost to you. It could be your child, grandchild, a close friend, or even a neighbor. And, ready for this? That person would get paid. Yeah, they would get paid to take care of you in your home. And it would cost you nothing. Just call Committed Home Care right now to get started. 866-659-9409. Based right here in upstate New York, Committed Home Care will help you hire a caregiver you choose and will ensure that person gets paid the best rates around with the added benefit of weekly pay. So don't wait. Call 866-659-9409. 866-659-9409 and take advantage of this free Medicaid-funded program that lets a family member or friend get paid to take care of you. Hire someone you love and who loves you today. Call Committed Home Care at 866-659-9409. That's 866-659-9409.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
Good morning. It is a Friday. Friday and the last Friday, kind of before it starts to turn into fall and cooler weather, and the forecast not looking too good for the weekend. Next week will be nice, but this week has been really good, and then it seems like, as Bill mentioned, the weekends lately have just been kind of not great, but it's important to get out and support the many events that are coming up in the area. And then, of course, one of those events is the Kurt Wyman Ride and Fall Festival. In studio now is Dave Olney and Kurt's father, Brian Wyman. Good morning. So nice to have you both in studio. Welcome back. How's everybody doing?
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
Good.
And the weather is going to be perfect next weekend.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
So you guys, right, you picked a better weekend, right? You picked the following weekend. If it had been this weekend, you would have been a little bit rough, but it looks like the long-term forecast is looking favorable on this annual event.
I think it looks like 81 and sunny.
I love that.
Saturday. So that's the last I checked.
So talk about this event, Dave. It's an event you've been involved with for several years, since its inception. It is a ride for motorcycles and then a great family fun event afterward, right?
Yeah, so it's actually two separate events that we combined into one day. We do the ride in the morning. The ride starts and ends at Harley-Davidson of Utica Power Sports. You get there, you don't have to pre-register. You get there and register in the morning. Kickstand's up at 10, I think. So register 8:30 to 9:30. Then we have a little ceremony. We have a beautiful, beautiful ride. It's through the countryside. Everybody loves the route we take. You get to see the leaves, and we stop at Oneida Lake for a little bit. Then we return to Harley, and then we throw our riding gear off and go up to the park. That's the Deputy Kurt B. Wyman Memorial Park on Judd Road. And this will be our second year having the entire event at Kurt's Park instead of the Gibson Road Park. And that's just an awesome day. I'll let Brian, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I got to say, it's and it says important to have good weather for a ride. Honor America Days, parade tomorrow. Get out there, wear the ponchos, the umbrellas, and show your resilience and still get out and support everybody walking the parade. But when there's a ride with motorcycles, it's important to probably have good weather.
It's very helpful.
Yeah. Brian, for you, first of all, thank you for coming in. And, we always think about you. Obviously I never had the opportunity to meet your son, but the things I hear about him and what he did for his family and his community will never be forgotten. For you as a father, what does it mean to see this event living on, and also the progress that's been made at the park?
Well, Dave mentioned that last year was the first year we had it actually on his side, on the Judd Road side, because the town was able to get the bathrooms in, and that was kind of like a key factor. And it was very awesome to see that park. It was just full of family and kids, and that's what Kurt was. That's what Kurt enjoyed. The soccer games going on, game after game. That was Kurt, and being able to have that fall festival and just a time, family can come and just be family and have fun. It was a really good last year.
Yeah, and I think, this area has had the unfortunate trauma of several officers being killed in the line of duty. And, I think that what we do here as a community very well is to remember those brave heroes, your son included. And, it's just an awesome event every year, and tell people how they can get out and get involved and the importance of coming out and keeping Kurt's memory alive.
Come out at the park. It's going to be 12 to 5, hay rides, bouncy houses, food trucks. There's going to be soccer games going on through Accelerate Sports, and ASO will be going on. Come.
Yeah.
We'll during the ride, you mentioned other officers, even more recently, the ones in Syracuse. At the ride, part of the ceremony, we're going to be honoring Michael Jensen and Michael Husik. That's part of what we do. It's just not about Kurt all the time. We want to honor those who have given that sacrifice that Kurt did.
Yeah, and it is unfortunate how many, and you, Steve, dealing with Tom Lindsay during your tenure as a Utica Police public information officer. It's never easy, and the fact that it's still happening at such an alarming rate is really discouraging and sad. But one thing that we as a community, again, will never do is forget those individuals who made that ultimate sacrifice.
Yeah, and what I find interesting about this event particularly is that in law enforcement, we all understand the sacrifices and the risk that comes with the profession. But at its heart, all of us really give, right? Mm-hmm. We give ourselves, we sacrifice a lot. And what I find unique about this event is even though Kurt himself is not able to give, his memory is able to give back and be there for the community. So I congratulate you guys for doing this, because it allows him to really continue to further serve the community just through you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Dave, talk about this event and, what its, ultimate goal is every year and what its intention is and what any proceeds raised from the ride or whatnot go to.
Yeah, that's really good subject there. So the ultimate goal, honestly, is awareness and community. If you go up there on Saturday, you see hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, and there's the lines. We have two hay wagons, and the lines to get on the hay wagon. Just spend time with your family and to go around. And as Brian said, Kurt was all about family and community and getting people together. And to see that all just for one day, it's free except for the food trucks. Everything there is free. We just want to see people. We want to see people out. We're going to have different displays. We'll have fire trucks. We'll have DPW trucks, the state police, the sheriff's office is going to be there with some the vehicles and the child ID trailer.
That's big. Yeah.
Yep. So it's just we want to see people. At the end of the day, we're exhausted, and it's just such a good feeling to have seen all these people, most of which we don't know and have never seen before. And then, honestly, throughout the year, we maintain the Facebook page, and I'll get just random notifications on my phone that this person checked in at the Deputy Kurt B. Wyman Memorial Park. And it's just really neat. You'd be going about your day and minding your own business, and all of a sudden you get a reminder on your phone that people are there using that park and checking in every single day. And as Brian said, last year, and when we did I think we did it on the 12th or the 11th, the ribbon cutting for the concession building and bathrooms was just such an emotional, great day because, as you said, the proceeds. We've been working hard for over a decade to build this park, and to see that building come to fruition, it's like that was a pardon the pun, but a concrete piece that came together. And it wasn't just us. I mean, we've been working hard all this time. It was us, the committee, the foundation. It was the town of Whitestown and the partnerships we made, and it was Joe Griffo's office, and it was just the community coming together to make this happen and make this a success. And any future funds that we get through anything we do, it goes right back into the park.
Yeah, it's an awesome space, and for the time that we have to enjoy the great outdoors and stuff like that, it's important to have those spaces and to keep them maintained, and that's what the ultimate goal is. And in memory, Brian, of your son, who who loved his community and loved his country, and unfortunately made the ultimate sacrifice. But we remember him always. So we thank you for being here, and thank you for being a part of this event, and for continuing on. And that's not always easy, but we appreciate it. And Dave, we appreciate all that you and your wife, who will not come in the studio and be on microphone, but Dana also very involved in this as well. So we thank you for that. So it's next weekend. How do people get involved with the ride? Can they show up the day of and register?
Show up. We don't do pre-register. It's very difficult with the weather and everything else. So
yeah, that's probably a good move.
We're going to be there about 8. We can start. You can show up 8 to 9:30. At 9:30, like I said, we have a short ceremony, and again, we're going to honor all of our local fallen police officers. It's a really nice ceremony with people that talk and really pay tribute to why we're there. Then we do the ride. We come back. There's going to be food trucks at Harley-Davidson for the people returning from the ride, and then at the park, just come. We want to see that place full. Last year, it was our first year at Kurt's side of the park, and I don't know if it's a benefit or not a benefit, but doing the ride, we're not there for the beginning because we finished the ride and then we have to hustle up there.
Yeah.
But there was some panic at the beginning because it was just packed, and Judd Road was was all boxed up, and we got there and people were pulling their hair out. Where are we going to put all these people? That is the best problem in the world.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
And it worked out, and just everybody took a deep breath, and we got it done, and it was an absolutely amazing event. And it's just, and every year, it's just at the end of the day, the committee gets together, we take a picture at Kurt's Memorial, and what a feeling of community and family. Just there's no better.
There is no better feeling. So we appreciate all that you do. And, of course, your ears were ringing when Trooper Keller was Technical Sergeant. I'm so used to calling him Trooper Keller. Technical Sergeant Keller was in to talk about the State Fair. You actually do a lot of that drone work that he was talking about. So you're the drone expert.
I was there the whole fair, the whole 17 weeks of it, I think it was.
That's what it felt like, right?
It was a long.
It's funny. Your wife was saying something along the lines that you were terribly missed, that she did not enjoy the space and the time alone to do her projects at the house, right, Dana? That's right. So, well, thank you for all that you continue to do. Brian, it's good to see you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having us on.
And anytime, you're more than welcome. Anything else you want people to know, just come out and support the great event.
Yeah, come out, show up, be there for if you got a motorcycle. We don't care if it's a Harley or not. It doesn't matter. Come on down. We want to see 1,000 people on this ride. We have every fire department along the way. Every fire department's jurisdiction that we go through, or there's going to be volunteer firemen there helping with the intersections to get us through safely. Every police department that we go through their area, they're going to be there helping us. This is one of the most fun, safest, most enjoyable rides in the area. It's like I said, all the funds raised go right into that park. The ride itself, like the weather's going to be perfect. It's just going to be a great day, and if you ride the ride, have something to eat there at Harley, and then come on up to the park. There's plenty of room, and it's just going to be a great day.
It is going to be a great day. Well, Dave Olney and Brian Wyman, thank you so much for taking the time this morning. We'll break, and we'll be back after this with Coach Blaise Fagiano honoring volunteer firefighters at the Believe 271 Bowl tonight to kick off the Utica University football season. That and much more coming up on First News with Keeler in the morning on WIBX.
On September 20th, our community will hold Mohawk Valley Gives, a 24-hour day of giving to benefit area nonprofits. Join us at givemb.org and let's show everybody that Mohawk Valley gives.
This is Dr. Robert Fleischer, urologist with Mohawk Valley Health System. MVHS, in collaboration with Upstate Urology, is hosting a free prostate cancer screening event throughout the month of September to recognize Prostate Cancer Awareness Month and encourage men to get screened. Prostate cancer is the most common cancer and unfortunately the second leading cause of cancer death in American men. Approximately 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer during his lifetime. Early diagnosis of prostate cancer significantly increases the likelihood of survival. The free screenings include a prostate exam with a prostate-specific antigen blood test. I strongly encourage all men aged 45 to 75 to participate. Early detection can mean the difference between life and death. For more information or to register, please visit mvhealthsystem.org or call 315-624-4600. That's 315-624-4600.
By now, you've probably heard of Upside, the free app that gets you real cash back at gas stations. But Upside is so much more than just a gas app. Upside lets you earn cash back at more than 85,000 grocery stores, gas stations, and restaurants, including popular national chains and local favorites. Just download the free app, claim an offer, and get real cash back on your purchase. There are no complicated points or rebates. With Upside, you can earn up to $10 cash back every time you go to the grocery store or dine out. That's up to $10 right back in your pocket on every meal out and every grocery run. The best part? You can earn on top of your credit or debit card rewards. Download Upside today. Use promo code SNACK10 and get a 10% cashback bonus on your first purchase. Get the Upside app and use promo code SNACK10 for an extra 10% cashback bonus. That's promo code SNACK10. Offers vary by user and location. Terms and conditions apply. Go to upside.com for details.
Whitesboro Central School District is looking for bus drivers to join their team now. Whitesboro is a leading school system in Central New York with 7 schools, 3,100 students, and a 92% graduation rate. You can help drive our students' success. When you drive for Whitesboro, you get pay that's based on your experience, great benefits, a flexible schedule, and summers off. Call Andy at 315-768-9740 or stop by the garage, 20 Wood Road, Whitesboro.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first-time Nana moments.
Yeah, welcome to Flight 101.
To annual girls trip moments. Your can't-miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Things are moving in Herkimer County. Thursday, September 5th, kicks off Marathon Weekend in Old Forge with 4 days of races, including trail runs from 5K to 50K, gravel grinder bike races, and kayak races. At the same time, the 90-mile Adirondack Canoe Classic launches from Old Forge. In southern Herkimer County, the Falling Footsteps 5K gets people moving in Richfield Springs Thursday the 9th. Recharge at the Mohawk Valley Farmers Market every Friday in Herkimer. Then get to the famous Mohawk Valley Garlic Festival Saturday, September 14th in Little Falls. Leaves are starting to change color, so anywhere you go in Herkimer County is a feast for your eyes, and the lineup of festivals and activities feed your mind and body. For further information and details, click on experienceherkimercounty.com. Herkimer County, I love New York.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
First news, Keeler in the morning. We are closing in on our final hour of the program for the week. Bill is off. He is out in Buffalo getting himself checked out, part of his monthly trip out to Roswell. We wish him well. He was on earlier letting his opinion be known about the situation in Frankfurt involving that discharged weapon at the elementary school event, the open house event. We still have little to no details as far as what went on there, and Bill was making his opinions known with regard to that earlier. It was good to hear from him, but he'll be back on Monday morning. We are very happy to have Steve Hauken as our guest co-host this morning. Steve, thank you as always for being here and being available and for longer than just a segment today, so we appreciate it.
No problem. It's been a pleasure being here. I know that Bill told you to find the most dynamic, interesting person you could find, and since they weren't available, you called me.
Yes,
so it's been good being here.
We're glad to have you, and we're going to kind of stick with the theme of what we've been talking about, and that's law enforcement, first responders. You know, naturally, whenever I have a guest host in, I like to try to have a lot of the subject matter be in relation to what the guest co-host is an expert in or interested in. And one person we have on the line right now is Coach Coach Blaise Fagiano for Utica University. Fear the Moose. The football season kicks off tonight with a very popular annual event. Coach, it's the Believe 271 Bowl. And actually, Dave Olney, who was just in studio, sings the national anthem for the game every year. Coach, how are you doing? And you're preparing for the game. It's good to talk to you. Oh, hold on. I got to...
Having me on, guys. I can't believe it's the 7th annual Believe Bowl. Like, where does the time go, right? It's amazing.
I know.
Amazing event.
It's, that's what we talk about, a lot of these events. Like we were just talking about the Kurt Wyman ride and the progress they've made at that park. And, it's hard to believe it was however many years ago it was that we lost Kurt in that terrible incident. But talk a little bit about the purpose of Believe 271 and what their mission is and how you guys came to be involved with that.
Well, I appreciate it. It's a story that I love, talking about. It's something I'm very passionate about. And, it's all relationships in the game of football and the bonds you build, and it goes back a ways for me. I'm coaching at St. John Fisher, and one of my players I recruited was Brian McQueen's son, Ryan McQueen from Whitesboro. So I've known the McQueen family a long time. And when I got the head job at Utica, I kind of had, Brian, who does so much in the community, was chief of the volunteer fire department in Whitesboro, was on the board here in District of Whitesboro where my family lives, and just an amazing person. And unfortunately, he had a battle with cancer due to his fire service, and was going down to Sloan Kettering. And the real inside story is that for him it was in his throat. And that's the thyroid in that area, and that's my namesake. Which is a whole other story for a different time. But my first name's Blaise, and there's a Saint Blaise, and Saint Blaise cures all ailments of the throat. And I remember sending Brian a Saint Blaise medal and some prayers, and I know all of his friends were raising money to help because it was very expensive for him and Sarah and all the trips back and forth. And our program's mantra at Utica and our football program is uncommon. And Brian, the very uncommon person, says, listen, I don't want the money. Put the money in the fund. We can help other firefighters. And so that's where Believe 271, and officially in 2014, and just what they've done is incredible. They've raised, like $445,000 for other families that are battling. There's actually New York State legislation that was passed to provide volunteer firefighters and first responders with health care, right? Like that's pretty like earth moving type effect, and they've trained thousands and thousands of firefighters. So, we thought about how can we promote this great organization? And it's through football. And it started out, Matt and Lisa Wilsey, okay? Matt played football for Coach McQueen at Aristide, right? He was his line coach. And Matt and Lisa, currently at the time was the owner of New York State Tool, and that's how the game started. It was the New York State Tool Believe Bowl. And Matt and Lisa still give to the foundation. They had since sold the company. They're doing very well. And we were so pleased that Frank and Colleen Mastrovito and their team kind of picked up the naming of the game so we could continue this great tradition. Yeah, it's an awesome event every year, and this year it kicks off your season and your home, and it's going to be an awesome event. And while the weather isn't looking too good for the weekend, the fact that the game is tonight is advantageous because the weather will still be nice and hopefully a little bit warmer. And one thing that has come about from your tutelage at the helm of the football team is the tailgate experience, which is incredible every year at the stadium and on campus. I appreciate you bringing that up. The man.
Well, Gary Heenan can't have all the fun with bringing the party atmosphere to the auditorium. You've got to get some credit here too, man.
Well, it's funny you say Gary Heenan. All the hockey guys will be there in full force because I gave them a bunch of passes yesterday, and a lot of our coaches will have like top recruits at the game. And listen, I pay attention. I've been here 17 years. When I showed up to Utica, my first experience is living in the community where events like the Boilermaker and the Heart Run Walk and going to hockey games. And I can remember just talking to my wife about just how giving of a community this was, and it wasn't like other places we had lived.
No doubt.
And so we needed to jump into that, and over time, now I think it's the first year that every one of our 5 games, there's something going on. We talk about it. We talk about it with the players, and we laugh about it. Like, hey, there is all kinds of stuff going on tonight. We just got to focus on doing our job, but that's okay because that's our guys really believe in playing something bigger than themselves. And when they were at the Believe Bowl press conference this week, and they see how much it meant to our honorary captains this week, and to Coach McQueen, and it's something really special. And listening to the players talk in our team meeting last night about how they feel about our program. And, we like to think that we've built something pretty special, and community is a huge part of it. And like, we got all kinds of characters too. Like, you follow us on social media. I got a couple of dads. Like, I have a couple of dads that are, I've got, Mr. Maldonado, we have Moose Hogan, he has his own like alter ego. I've got, Mr. All Day Malzahn. He's got his own logo with the double guns, like football all day. Like, they're doing videos every week. Like, our parents are very, very into it. And it makes it for a fun family atmosphere for sure. We've got the Hartford Pop Warners playing flag at halftime.
Nice.
We're selling jerseys. We got a Yankee ticket raffle. I'm a big Yankee fan. Although they're driving me nuts right now.
I know. You and I both, Coach. You and I both.
Oh, my Lord. But, then we're working with pins. We have a cool contest with pins where they have like a year or during the season, a big contest. And so there's all kinds of things going on. And again, but just a shout out to Frank and Master Vito for hosting the game. They'll have a tent in the end zone, and they'll host all of the families of our honorary captains, and they'll host the folks from their team over there. And certainly, like, it's a huge game. Like, Union went to the NCAAs last year. They beat Del Valle, and then they went on and they lost the next round to a very good Johns Hopkins team. And then, we went on and won a bowl game last year against Hobart. And so you got 2 teams that went to postseason last year that, very good teams. They have about 3/4 new coaching staff that came from Wilkes. And Coach Drock is, a very good coach at Wilkes and was at Hobart a bit. And, it's been fun. It's interesting. I didn't realize until I read our pregame at our first game. We got new turf back in the day, was a night game against Union, so
yeah.
I like when we can get the early season night games. The place is going to be, we talk about packing the gate, packing Gaetano. It's going to be rocking tonight for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be an awesome experience. We're talking to Coach Blaise Fauziano, the head football coach for Utica University. Men's Pioneers, Fear the Moose. I always have to add that in there. Steve Howkins studio this morning.
Morning, Blaise. So, I've had an opportunity to talk a few people. My brother-in-law, Keith Scranton, who, of course, and Davey before we came on air. We'd be remiss without asking you. You lost some players last year to graduation. How optimistic are you this year coming in with a bunch of new players?
Oh, very optimistic. Some of these guys, particularly like some of our captains, they've just been waiting. So everyone's going to go like, where did these guys come from? And I think it's a sign of a good program. They've just been kind of waiting for their opportunity. Some of them are certainly upperclassmen. Maybe don't have as much game experience, but we logged in 32 practices this spring and played a game in Canada. We had a great preseason. We had a couple scrimmages, and these guys are ready to roll. And I think that's one of the things that we've worked hard to build, is that we wanted to be successful on a consistent basis. Since 2018, we haven't looked back. That big bowl win against Ithaca, we haven't had a losing season since then. Been to multiple postseasons, and a lot of these guys have all been a part of it. And we've had some key guys come back. The 5th-year guys like John Strong, which we laugh, it's the 6th year. We're really glad. He had a COVID year and he tore his ACL 1 year, so we're glad that he decided to use. Matt Brantley, decided to use his extra year.
Yeah.
Dougie Simmons, Darius Johnson. So we've got a few. Sam Florio, we didn't know if Sam was going to come back. Our Wildcat Raven quarterback, and we're excited. I think last year we were very different. I think it kind of surprised a lot of people. They're used to seeing us throw the ball all over the yard, and we ran the ball and played good defense and won games in the fourth quarter, and the smoke cleared, and we were 8-2, and then we're 9-2, and I think that was a huge for us to follow the 10-2 year, right? Like we go 10-2, we're 20th in the country. What were we going to do after that? So, it's these guys are ready. Now we have a ton of sophomores. There's going to be a lot of new names that people are going to enjoy watching play. And I think there's always that excitement of the first game. You can prepare all we want of what we think that Union might do or what they think we might do. At the end of the day, we just got to ride the waves of the game and play good Utica football. But I'm excited about this group. They're a very, very close group, very, very tight-knit. I think we're like 28 seniors, about 28 juniors, and then there's just a ton of sophomores on this team. So that came at. Yeah, go ahead.
We're very optimistic about the season, and you've done a great job to develop that program into what it is, and of course, having such an incredible milestone event every year, the Believe 271 Bowl tonight, and I'm sure also on the minds of a lot of people in the audience will be Assistant Fire Chief of the Yorkville Fire Department, Nick Morosco, who unfortunately passed away recently. I was driving down Genesee Street just the other day and saw the literal mile-long or longer line of police and fire vehicles following his funeral. It's definitely a tough loss for the community, but I'm sure his memory and several other volunteer first responders will be remembered tonight as you do so well. It's the Believe 271 Bowl tonight. What time does everything kick off, and are people's tickets still available and all that?
Well, tickets are available. They're available at the gate. They're just $5 a ticket, and so that's always an option. Kickoff's at 7. First group will be on the field at 6. And heck, my parents will start tailgating at 3, guys. So whatever you want,
start putting your tents out.
Yeah, they'll be ready to roll. But exciting opportunity. I love the night game. You guys are going to see our new Delmonico's Italian Steakhouse tunnel.
Ooh, very nice.
25-foot moose. This thing is massive. We're going to come running
awesome.
out of. So. A couple of years ago, our helmet died. We used to have a football helmet. So, but the guys are excited to. Again, I think it's one of those things where we work really hard, but we got to have a lot of fun.
I'll tell you, for those that haven't had a chance to go to the Gaetano Stadium and watch you guys play, it's a show before and during the game. It's exciting, not just the tailgating, but it's great entertainment. It's great athleticism by those players. It's a lot of fun, and you're not going to get much better than $5 a ticket to get in there. So if you've never been there, I encourage you to go.
A great price for a great show.
It's a great event.
So, Coach Fagiano, we appreciate you taking the time. We will stay in touch throughout the season. We'll get the victory tonight, and then we'll move on to the next one, hopefully right after that. So, good luck tonight. Give all the guys our best wishes, and I hope you have a great evening tonight. Have a lot of fun, okay?
I really appreciate you having us, guys. Join the 12th man, everyone, and fear the moose.
All right, Coach. Fear the moose. All right, have a great night tonight and a great weekend. We'll catch up with you soon. Coach Blaise Fagiano from Utica University men's football. We will be back right after this. We have to take one more quick break, and then we'll speak to an expert when it comes to small businesses and overcoming adversity, and that is exactly what most small businesses are having to do right now, and that is overcome adversity in the form of inflation. Scott Allen Curley joining us next on First News with Keeler in the morning on WIBX.
Summer is here, and if you want to transform your backyard into your very own staycation, look no further than Liverpool Pool and Spa. They're offering the season's lowest prices on above-ground pools with both round and oval sizes available. Low monthly payments or 24 months 0% financing for qualified buyers. Own a high-quality pool without the high price. Visit them at 1501 East Dominic Street in Rome or online at liverpoolpoolandspa.com. Don't just dream it, live it.
Beautiful woodwork adds warmth and charm to any kitchen. But years of use can leave your cabinets worn and faded. When you call Enhance, we'll make your cabinets as good as new again in as little as 1 day for a lot less than you'd pay for traditional refinishing or replacements. Whether you want to renew your cabinet's original finish or completely change their color, just tell us the look you want and we'll help you get it. Or bring your hardwood floors back to life. With most Enhance renewals, you can use your floors again the same day. Plus, there's no mess, no dust, and no odors.
Call Enhance today for a free in-home consultation. We'll explain the process, we'll show you how your cabinets or floors will look when we're done, and we promise you'll be really pleased with the price. And when you trust Enhance, you'll get the skilled workmanship and attention to detail we bring to every job. There's no obligation. Call us now at 738-1113. 738-1113.
When we get together with others, we can do more. On September 20th, our community will hold Mohawk Valley Gives, a 24-hour day of giving to benefit area nonprofits. Your donation will help hundreds of nonprofit organizations meet our community's greatest needs, and every dollar counts. Join us on September 20th at givemb.org, and let's show everybody that Mohawk Valley gives.
Powered by the Community Foundation and Up Mobility Foundation. Proudly sponsored by Staffworks and M&T Bank and brought to you by Town Square Media.
Save thousands on the new revolutionary swim spa at a one-time sale. Final day. Herkimer County Fairgrounds. Exercise with low impact. Swim the entire year and stay in shape. Teach your kids to swim. Unwind and save thousands. Avoid the expense and maintenance involved with a pool. Swim, exercise, and relax in your new aquatic exercise swim spa. Installation in one day only. New 2024 inventory. 18-month interest-free financing. Millions of dollars of inventory must be sold. Herkimer County Fairgrounds. Free admission. Free parking. Call 855-SPA-SALE.
Mattress Express's Labor Day sale is here. Take up to 60 months to pay for anything in the store with no money down for qualified customers. Save up to $700 on Tempur-Pedic, $1,000 on Purple, $700 on Stearns & Foster, and $1,350 on Puffy.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
First news, Keeler in the morning. It is a Friday, and we are winding down on the time we have with each other this morning. Thank you so much to Steve Hauk, who is our guest host this morning. Bill is off. We'll be back with the full crew on Monday morning. Steve, thanks so much for coming in and filling in. You've done a wonderful job and brought some great guests along with you. So we appreciate it, as always.
Been fun. Good time.
Right now, we want to get quickly to Scott Allen Curley. He's a small business owner and expert in overcoming adversity. He's a self-made millionaire and one of the nation's most unlikely and successful entrepreneurs. Scott was born into the world unknown by his father and unwanted by his mother. His identity struggles eventually led him down a dark path of drugs, criminal behavior, but ultimately a decade of incarceration and now success and entrepreneurship. Scott, good morning. Thank you so much for taking the time this morning. And one of the big things that every small business owner is facing, such as yourself, adversity in the form of inflation.
All day. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you for having me, by the way.
It's a pleasure.
And yes, you're right. Inflation, it's touching everybody. There's no way around it. But there are things that we could all do together as organizations, starting with leadership, all the way to boots on the ground, is let's just do better. And I know that sounds so basic and fundamental, but a huge problem that we're experiencing in small to mid-sized businesses is that we struggle to get our employees to be allocatively efficient. Meaning that, and again, I'm not throwing stones, but it's a fact. Is when you pay someone $25 an hour and you go into your CRMs and the phone systems and you see that they've only given you 5 hours and you paid them for 8, that adds to the stress on the company on our ability to remain not only competitive but to keep our prices at a point where people can afford them. So that's one big problem that we can immediately address and contribute to a solution, or part of it at least.
Yeah, I mean, obviously spending at the government level is a huge contributing factor, but there are other things that contribute to it and maybe are a byproduct of inflation. But I think too, you touched on something, finding good help. And even when you hire them, sometimes small business owners have trouble trusting that they won't be robbed in a sense.
And it is extremely prevalent. I'm a member of many associations, and I talk to business owners and business leaders around the country nearly daily. And it is a common thread. And it's not to say that the employees are bad. We love our employees, and they're good people. But unfortunately, in today's world, people tend to, and not all, but I'm from the old school, but there are some new school-minded people out there that tend to go to work and find ways to not work. And what that does, that contributes to the inflationary crisis. And what it does also, it encourages, and this is tough to say, it encourages owners to start looking elsewhere so that they can be efficient, whether it be outsourcing to the Philippines or India, or automating those positions. And the way to stop that from happening so quickly, go to work and put in the time that you're being paid for. Do that, and that will directly impact and contribute to the solution.
We're talking to Scott Allen Curley, who is a small business owner and expert in overcoming adversity. Steve Houck, go ahead.
Scott, so we see obviously with the national political climate, and it's an election year, so there's always things that get brought up, and of course, the number one concern for voters is the economy, and we've seen where nationally on a level they're pointing the fingers at businesses for price gouging, and then that's causing the prices to stay inflated. As an expert, what's your opinion on that? Is it companies being greedy, or is it something else?
I'll say this, and I know we don't have much time, so I'm going to try to give you a really quick answer. I don't see that on a regular basis. I don't see that. 80-ish% of employees are employed by small to mid-sized businesses. We don't have the ability to price gouge even if we wanted to, but we don't want to. The problem that we're facing is that we are trying to be efficient, and the definition of efficiency is to get the most for the least. But in doing that, we need our employees to, like I just said, I sound like a broken record, to go in and be a part of the solution and not a part of the problem. When you go to work and you spend so much time at the water cooler and you're hanging out with your friends, and those little 5 and 6 minutes and you're checking Facebook, they add up. And at the end of the day, we've paid for 8 hours of labor and got 5 hours out of it. And who pays for that? The consumer.
Yeah.
And so that's it starts with us. Let's work together from employer perspective, and let's work together to be more efficient and value our time and understand that we can't get it back and get the most out of it.
Well, everybody loves small businesses and supporting them, and that's a great way to do it. Scott Allen Curley, thanks so much for taking the time. We always wish we had more, but unfortunately we do not. So thank you for everything you do and all that you've shared, and have a great weekend.
And thank you for having me.
Oh, most certainly. All right, that's Scott Allen Curley, small business owner and expert in overcoming adversity. Our time is dwindling. Steve Houck, thank you so much for always being a part of the program and in an extended capacity today. We really appreciate it. Whatever your football team is, go them.
Well,
Go Bills.
I'm a Giants fan. But,
boy.
I know.
All right. Well, listen, hey, they got the Vikings, so I'll be rooting for them this week.
I got Jeff Manansky on my side. That's all I know.
There you go. Go Bills. Go Packers tonight. Have a great weekend, everybody. Stay safe. We'll be back Monday morning.
Thanks, everybody.
This is Bill Cole from Gates Cole Insurance. Finding insurance coverage can be an overwhelming undertaking. As your local independent insurance company, we work hard for you to get the best coverage.
My name's Timothy Dean. I'm from Taberg, New York. We had a house fire. Got a phone call at 3 o'clock in the morning. My house was fully involved. That morning at 6 o'clock, I called. Leslie was my agent, and within a matter of 20 minutes, the agent had called me, and within a matter of 2 hours, the agent was on scene, assisting me with whatever I needed, and Gates Cole went above and beyond. I would highly recommend Gates Cole Insurance to anyone for the customer service that they have provided for me during not only my fire, but also for all my business needs.
This is Tom Cole. For insurance for your home, auto, business, and just about everything else, trust your local independent insurance agency. Gates Cole Insurance. We'll take care of you.
Hi, I'm Pete from Big Apple Music and Electronics. Do you want to protect your property or business? We sell and install hundreds of camera surveillance systems each year, and we are New York State licensed. Big Apple Music sells security cameras with Starlight night vision, giving the best picture in the dark so you have the best chance of catching criminals. Our showroom is located on Commercial Drive in New Hartford, where we can give you a demonstration or we'll come spec the job at your location. Big Apple Music, 315-732-4162.
Tommy! I Can't wait for golf this weekend, huh, buddy? Time flies. Love you, man. Oh, don't forget your knee brace again. We aren't in college anymore.
Moments together matter, so help protect yourself from RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like